Hello and welcome to role-playing in the fourth dimension for the Lich's Dregs session 4. It's been a while since we've been in because we missed last session due to misunderstanding in scheduling, but we're back now. And we're joined by an additional player, Captain Conway. That's going to introduce his character later. And Calvin playing Omelette again, Nicholas playing Rat Bastard, and Zonalar being our GM. So I'll pass the ball to him.
All right, we will start off this session 3 days later as the group take the short time they have to collect and gather themselves, heal whatever wounds they can, and live with the ones that take longer to patch up. In those 3 days, our characters move around in the orc village. Kaharn, take the lead.
I spent the last 3 days mainly eating and drinking and fucking in the communal longhouse. Just taking some time to do some serious work, sharpening my axes, going to getting into some tussle at night when I'm drunk, mostly resting, trying to do the best of my time. Now I'm gathering my pack, gathering my thing, making sure my weapons are sharp, grabbing a bow and some arrow, and ready for the hunt.
Amidst the armories of the orcish village, sparks fly as an axe is sharpened. Then the hammering of metal starts, billowing out through in the distance, and then stops. Footsteps approach Kaharn.
Turn around. So what you want?
A small entity stands before you. Its skin not green as that of an orc, grayish. I look up at you, smaller. One of the orcs that usually stay in the background, although it can't really be called an orc. I heard that you were looking for weapons.
Going down the hunt. I need some arrows.
Arrows.
I don't tend to like using those, but for such a beast, they gotta be needed.
Wipe my hands on a black leather apron. Then I show to you an arrow I have made. I have indeed made many arrows. It is perhaps the only thing that they've relegated me to. The character looks down. Perhaps
I grab the arrow.
I can lend some to you, but I want to go in the hunt as well, even if I've not been designated a hunter.
I grab the arrow. I rub my finger on the tip, testing the sharpness. So yeah, that's the only thing I would let you touch either. So you think yourself capable of being a hunter?
I've been a raider before. Not really allowed to a chance to join the front ranks. I think I can do it.
There are humans out there.
My character's eyes widen slightly.
Why would I want to have humans out there? You? What side will you take? Are you gonna try to go with those other fucking smooth skin?
You know me. Perhaps you don't. I respect strength.
I sighed. Turn back, see over my shoulder. Come if you want. I'm sure the chief won't mind if we lose a half-breed in the process.
Every hunter knows that some days they don't return home. My character will nod, turn around, go back to banging metal with a hammer.
I step off of the
Red
forgery.
bastard.
The last 3 days, I've been doing meal chores for Kaharn. I've gathered from a secret stash in the camp a roundish vial of brownish liquid poison I got from Kaharn's cousin's goblin. I've fetched myself a few makeshift arrows I've made myself as well. And been generally serving Kaharn while waiting for the hunt and waiting for my other plots to unravel by themselves.
Omelette.
In the past 3 days, I've spent my time collecting components for my spells, and I've taken it upon myself to collect resin and sap from the nearby woods, and I've mixed it with some of the rendered fat that's come off of our perpetual stew to try to make some kind of concoction that I can light on fire. Knowing that this creature has a vulnerability to it.
As you're brewing your concoction, make a roll, adding each ingredient carefully with a measured hand. You may roll with medicine or with your nature.
I made an herbalism kit check for 16.
That works. The mixture looks right, and its solution volatile but stable until used.
I approach Kaharn after a while. All your errands have been run, master.
Good. It's the morning we're leaving. Gather your stuff. You ready? Where's Omelette?
I know. He left you to collect herbs in bags.
Find them for me. I need to. And meet me at the Zoltark's place.
I'm
We'll gather
back
the-
in.
We'll gather the rest of the hunter over there and leave from there.
I backpedal, nodding. Yes, yes. And I start running on all fours, looking for Omelette.
And start walking towards Zoltark's place.
Passing by a small gulch, my character already waits, sitting at a fence. He had gotten up early. His hands run slowly on each rivet on his armor, seemingly of higher usual quality. He raises his face and looks at Kaharn. I'm ready for the hunt.
I raise my head. I say, well, at least you can show up on time. Half-breed. Come inside. Move and open the flap of Zoltark's hut. I get in. I go to
follow
the
Kaharn
fire.
inside.
Look for something to eat. Yeah, Zoltark. Zoltark, you're around?
The pigs oink and push away from where the noise is coming from, squeaking, turning over a log and eating the bugs underneath. As the heavy footsteps of Zoltar pushes the door open. Yes, Kaharn. Ah, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back, but I'm leaving. It's the day of the hunt. You found some suitable recruit?
He nods. He's ready and eager to join you. Come on out. Turns towards the hut, pushing the door open. Past him walks out an orc, 6 foot in stature, muscular but on the lean side. He looks a bit inexperienced based on the scars on him or the lack thereof. I'm Hagrin. I've joined the war tribes last year. I'm ready to join in.
You joined last year?
Yes, it's when I finish my ritual. He pushes himself proudly, stretching his shoulders through, looking you in the eyes, keeping it steady.
I'm staring down at him. Then look him up and down. I look back at Zoltark. Say, that's all you got?
He looks to the sides and comes a bit closer. Most fighters don't want to join. They've declined the invitation, Core. Some of them even spat at the name of the ringing of your name.
What's wrong with this clan? We're losing our way. People are getting soft. I
don't.
Get
He
closer.
shrugs his shoulders. I don't know. There's no reason. You have a fantastic reputation.
I'm the only one sticking to the old way. Evan used Zoltark. Raising pig, a man of your talent. Is that how you want to die now?
He rolls his eyes. Look, I'm ready to join you on your hunt. But he knocks against his lame leg. I will slow you down. If we have to track down that beast, I can't sprint with the others. Even though I'm a great shot with my heavy crossbow, and I will kill as much as the next orc. The war just took a bit too much out of me.
I turn around and say, you're right. You better stay with your pig.
Hunt Master Kaharn. 3 orcs will be more than enough.
I nod. You'll have to do. Look at that. A youngling and a half-breed. Shake my head.
I'm running a little bit from the outskirts of the tribe, where I know Omelette sometimes gather moss and other herbs. And I'm yelling, Omelette! Omelette!
I'm looking down in my lap where I've got a clay pot, and I'm carefully stirring in little bits of birch bark into this concoction, and I perk my head up and look over my shoulder at Rat.
Before speaking, I look around behind me, spot no one. I revert to speaking Goblin. Omelette, today's the hunt. Kaharn's got the other fools to fight, hunt the beast.
I pull the stick that I was stirring with out, and it makes a loud plopping noise as the concoction falls back in. And I take a small clay lid and try to close it over the top. There's little bits of the mess kind of on the edge of the lid that kind of get in the way. And I tell Rat, I'm almost ready.
I approach you. What you're brewing there? I'm like smelling the air.
It's not for eating.
Well, I hope so. I point to your satchel and bag. Do you still have the potion the wizard Sock gave you?
I reach back and pinch my satchel, and it's there's a hard object still inside, and I nod my head.
Good. Keep it safe. There's only dose for one of you.
I stand up and lift the pot up, and I look at Rat and I say, we can get this on the beast. It will be vulnerable. We have to launch it at it.
I try to gauge how big the clay jar is.
It's about the size of a small pumpkin.
One of the orcs should have the arm to throw it. If you're ready, we should go. Lest Kaharn gets angry at us again.
Right away.
I'm tired for looking for you too. Give me a ride, and I would make my way like to climb on your back.
You I let you climb onto my back, and use my tail to kind of boost you up a little bit higher. And
I tap you on the furred shoulder. Great omelet.
I make my way back into the village.
The sun crests over the barren wasteland with huts of pelts and leathers and mushroom wood form the horizon. The group coming together outside Soltak's hut.
There you are. Green or knife breed, you ready?
Yes. He slams his great axe down onto the shroom-covered flooring outside. Let's slay the beast.
I made the spear for the lad. He may be bigger, but I'm older.
I go to the Green Horn and I slap him in the face. So we're not going there to slay it. We want to capture it.
His eyes light up with fire, turning back to you. Yes, Kaharn.
I have brought this. My character turns around, fetching a small leather pouch. From within, he pulls out enormous iron spikes, cast iron, vicious looking. I have heard rumors that the beast regenerates. Perhaps if you can hammer it down, the flesh will regenerate around the iron. What use will it be if it's stuck?
I bring my finger close to one of those hooks. Touch it. touch the point like fishing hook. They're gonna come in handy.
Very big fish.
Yes.
Ja, was hat man 2000? Ja, das Haus verkauft für 250 Euro.
I look at Omelette with Red Bastard on its back, and I shake my head.
Da steht aber noch irgendwas drin.
I
I
say,
jump
Omelette,
down.
don't let him like treat you like a mount.
Grain Kicker.
I'm holding the jar in front of me, and I nod silently to Karen. Master, this I prepared something for the hunt, and I present the pot to him.
I grab the pot, I bring it close to my face, and I sniff at it.
Weil wir müssen den Scheiß Lohn irgendwie ausgleichen.
I open the lid, I look inside, I dip my finger, and I smell. That doesn't smell good at all.
Der kostet fast 94.
Yeah.
Den
This
stelle ich hier hinten hinter den
This
Zaun.
concoction is very flammable.
Ich könnte auch eine große
We can
mitstellen.
smash this pot against the
Ich weiß wieder
beast.
wieder ab.
It'll be vulnerable.
Müssen wir sowieso nur darauf warten, dass das
It should stick.
fertig ist.
It should stick to its scales and coat it.
Burn the beast. We need to be careful. I want the beast to remain useful. This is a capture mission.
The whole time I'm like looking at everybody. I make a frown confused expression towards Chicken Bones. I approach Karen. Master, we bring in a mule to the hunt.
I unstrap my wineskin from like a thing of the wineskin that I have on my shoulder. I approach Rat Bastard. I put my wineskin on his shoulder. I say, "Yes, we are."
I droop down my ears. Yes, master. I adjust the weight.
I easy my footing. Clearly not accustomed to goblins around. My hands clutch at a precious necklace, ready for you.
I pick up one of the arrows next to Chicken Bones and just inspect it.
My eyes turn to this taller lizard man. A marvelous work of steel, is it not?
I'm fiddling with it and thinking about, or you can see the gears turning in my head.
He's not too fond of iron. I speak with not a single least of respect like I have for the other orcs.
Does the thing speak? Huntmaster Kaharn?
Oh yeah, let me do the introduction. That's Omelette. I found him as an egg.
I sneer
What?
when Karn says I found it.
And he turned out to be very useful. That's my goblin.
I should introduce myself as well. I am Grossalon, although I sigh. Most call me by Chicken Bones.
Yeah.
I'm laughing under my breath.
I was thinking your uncle could spring one of his pegs as a bait to take with us. But I see you have 2 baits with you already. Looking at the lizard folk and the goblin.
I still haven't looked up from the arrow. I begin looking around in my surroundings, and I notice it's a piece of burlap in one of the tents. I cut a chunk off with my kukri and tied in a little knot around the tip of the arrow, just behind the tip of the arrow. Then I go over to Kaharn and take a claw, dip it into the pot, smear it onto the fabric, and then I hold it up.
Grab the arrow. So you got something to light it up.
I hold my claw out, and I say in Druidic, Agni, and a little flickering flame appears in my hand.
Well, you'd have to stay
Orc
close
takes
then.
a few steps back at the display of witchcraft. Cursing in Orcish. What the fuck's that?
I point the arrow at him, and I said, that's why he is not bait. Put the arrow in the quiver. Greenhorn, Half-Breed, you ready?
I am.
I look at this
None
guy.
of us are bait. We will return.
We should
get
go
moving.
already.
Yes, let's press the pace. We have like a day and a half walk to get there. We'll stop at my outpost on the edge of the territory.
Adron stands ready to follow Kaharn.
Adjusting the weight of the wine skins. Right, let us get going, master. Otherwise the beast will wander too far off.
I start like walking outside, like toward on the road toward my outpost.
Soltar yelling after you. Good hunt, Kaharn Pa'up.
I just wave without turning my back. Keep walking.
Follow.
With a heavy pack lifted on my back, many tools of metal, I follow behind, trying to stay directly behind the Huntsmaster.
I turn toward the other orc. I say, Greenhorn, come over here.
What do you need, Kaharn?
So what made you want to join the hunt?
A beast as tall as a house. Sounds exhilarating. It will make a fine trophy, one of its fangs. They do grow, right? They grow back. I can take one.
I rub my chin. Yeah, I guess you could get one for trophy. There would be no harm in that. Well, remember, we're trying to capture it alive.
His eyes shift. Yes, alive.
There is no greater trophy. Master Kaharn, I character starts walking slightly slower behind. His voice shakes slightly. His hands fidgeting with the symbol he has on his neck. You spoke of
So what is it?
humans. His voice seemingly more worried about the humans than the Hydra.
Yes. We encounter some humans inside the territory. A hunting party.
I walk in closer, like my left ear directing towards their conversation.
I stop walking a bit and I turn to face the half-breed and I say, and we ate them. And I stare to look at his reaction.
Red Goblin is smiling as well, looking at
His fidgeting on the holy symbol grows faster. That is good. This is our territory. We will patrol the border if needs be.
So yeah, our territory. And I turn back and I start walking again. So what
Red
is your
bastard.
concern?
Give me a perception check.
Red Bastard?
Yes.
Oh, good. That's it.
12. During the conversation,
14.
as Kaharn turns his back to Hagrin to talk to the half-breed, you sense anger in his eyes, like that orcs always have on their faces, that he pushes away when Kaharn turns again to continue.
I'm following behind Corn, just carrying the clay pot that I made. My tail kind of slapping against the ground occasionally as we walk.
I'm just like walking and yapping. I think it's time that we have some change happening in that tribe. The fact that only one orc were willing to join on this expedition is telling. It's losing its way. The chief is spending too much time with the slave. He forgot what it is to go to get in the fight. Pushed it out early with too small a party. Didn't order people around to go get that beast, so he doesn't deserve it. Didn't less enough time to rest properly. It's like you want this expedition to fail. You want orcs to be weak. And look at the green horn.
Orcs should be strong, but we are strong because we are a tribe. The lone wolf out in the woods gets eaten by the pack.
Yeah.
This is why my mother, she spoke of many stories. One of them is of how the humans united once they were attacked. I believe that there is no big threat. No big threat. No one will circle around a banner. Life has become easy, more so than just yours.
You're right, Outbreed. You're right. There need to be a threat coming to this tribe. Shake them up a bit.
Hydra is big, but stupid. It will trample through the woods. Humans, that is a bad sign. Organized.
Humans are weak.
A 100 ants will bring down even the mighty wolf if they crawl over it.
I chuckle a bit.
The
I
orc
keep
says, "That's
walking.
fucking stupid."
Now in silence.
I narrow
You
my
were pushed
eyes at
back.
the orcs.
I go to reach for one of my wineskin, and then I remember that I gave them to Rat Bastard, so I just turn toward him and I extend my hand.
I immediately start pulling the one out of my neck, and I walk towards Kaharn's and put it in his hand. There you go, master.
I grab it and I start like drinking, and then like sling it over my neck and shoulder.
The sun passes on the sky, wandering. The village out of sight. Hills and gulches stepped on, with the inklings of trees at the horizon.
I'm waiting my wineskin. Almost drank half of it already. So we'll be at my outpost soon. Point toward the trees. Just by the edge of the wood over there. Can rest for the night and go on the run proper tomorrow morning.
Is that where the upside down tree is placed, Kaharn? I have not wandered in this direction before.
Yes, where my outpost is just on the edge, just by the marker. That's where we encounter the humans too. We're probably gonna see some remain.
I'm following behind them, still carrying 2 extra wineskins alongside my own gear.
With every step, the clinking of chainmail follows chicken bones. Could be heard from a mile away.
As we're traveling, I'm occasionally stopping to sniff in the air and look for signs of the humans, and smell for smoke and any signs of the tribe of humans that encroached on our territory.
Make a survival. No signs of humans, footsteps or otherwise. No smell.
Satisfied that our route is clear, I keep a close distance on Kaharn, and I'm basically at his heel as I follow behind.
I keep walking. I try to pace my drinking. I look at Rat Bastard. I say, like, we should have brought more wine. I thought I'd ask you to get some more skin.
The other orcs were not so keen on bartering, master. Perhaps with the hunt they'll see you differently. They'll bring wine to you as a gift. Yes.
As a gift. We'll take it. Once we have the Sidra, we'll take what we want.
Much wiser. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Like
we'll
those
take
orcs.
what we want. Hagrid
Mud.
echoes your sentiment.
Mud sloshes as Chicken Bones approaches. He lowers his eyebrows. You spoke of the chief with his pleasure women. Now we stand in the territory where humans walked, and you're like this. And he points towards Kaharn.
What? Was your mother a pleasure woman too?
I think your pleasure woman is the wine. We need you with your wits about you.
My wits. I flex my arm. This is the wits I need.
Fine.
I'm like looking to the side of my eye to Chicken Bones. At Chicken Bones.
I go back to walking, shaking my head. I mutter under my breath. Fucking orcs turning into merchant now.
I point. There, master. The campment should be a few paces up ahead. Look.
I can see it, red bastard. It appears to be right over there.
Turn toward Omelette, I say, you remember where you left that skull, right?
Yes, master.
You think the ants will have done their job by now? Been
I will
few
go and see.
days. Yeah.
I pick up my pace and move up ahead.
I pick up my pace as well to be in front of the group, and I almost mockingly I bow and I say, Master Khan, let the non-orcs do the busy work. You should rest, for you need strength for the beast.
Yes. You're right.
And I look
One.
at Chicken Bones. Come on, help set the camp. I'm smiling.
My character will lower his heavy pack. I will not. I will make sure every weapon is ready. He will point to Rat Bastard and motion for him to give him his weapons.
And my hand goes to my bone dagger.
Has
I
that
frown.
thing not been sharpened for a year now?
It is in good shape.
I look at the bone dagger that the red bastard just pulled out, and I shake my head. See, I just fucking gave you a better knife than that. Goblins.
I can make a better knife without a forge.
I'm pacing backwards. Very well then. I'll set the fire for the orcs. And I turn my back and scurry.
Picking up the equipment, I will drag it, sit with my back to a tree, and begin sharpening piece by piece, meticulously preparing.
I've set the pot of grease down in the middle of the encampment, and I'm crouching over this little skull. As I pick it up, some of the hair is still kind of caked on there and stuck with the congealed blood, but the flesh is seemingly picked clean. And I hold it up and present it to Kaharn.
Ants wandering over your fingers. grabbing the skull.
I take the skull, shake the remaining hand, and say, "Oh, what a beauty!" I turn toward Chicken Bone. Say, "You know him? Is that a parent of yours?"
The skull itself,
And I laugh.
a human skull with a split on the forehead.
My eyes widen slightly at the gory sight. Then, for a mere moment, a slight broken smile appears just in the corner of my mouth. Yeah, I think that was an uncle. Thought he would die with less.
I laugh even louder. Big belly laugh. And I go inside the hut. And I put it like in a... I put the skull there on the trunk. On the trunk. Go back outside. I sit down on a log by the the fireside. I look rat bastard. I say, "Make a fire, goblin."
I'm mid motion, striking flint and steel. Right on it, master. Smoke starts coming up. As I'm making a fire
Kaharn
grill.
sits down on another log, resting his legs, checking his gear, his 2 javelins to be in mint condition, sharpening the tips with a stone.
I'm watching as the ants are climbing on my arm, and I try to nip at them and eat them, picking them off. Shake the last few remaining ones that I can't quite reach off.
Crunchy. A bit of a fire in them.
The
Fire
sound
is
of
already.
the sound of the sharpening stone on metal ends, and Chicken Bone approaches, giving one weapon to each, putting it on the floor and uttering a slight prayer, his lips moving but no voice coming out. Kaharn, how big
I
was
raise
this
my
Hydra,
hand.
really?
Big enough that
We-
that it could lift me from the ground in its mouth.
Then it shall make for a good trophy if we bring it all of it back.
The other said it's as big as a dragon. Could it be?
You ever seen a dragon?
He stays silent, shakes his head.
My question is it big enough to carry a war chief?
It's big enough to make a war chief. If you can control it. We need to tame it. I'm thinking that maybe the old man had some idea about it as well. I don't trust
Old
him.
man. What old man?
The wizard. Live in the village.
I know of no such wizard. Do you not have your
He's-
own? And he will turn towards Hamlet. Your own witch?
No, there's a... I think he... Not sure he's still human. He was human maybe at some point. I think he's trying to... I don't know. Maybe he's like the... Maybe he will be at some point like the Lich.
I
Like nip this
spit
shit
at the
up.
ground. No one can be like Nadib. And I'm finally, the fire is roaring.
They say there was a great war chief before too, when the Lich took power. Then there was no war chief anymore.
Well, they all went to under the power of the Lich. But they say that the Lich, he was a man at some point too.
If the
Long
Lich can
time
control the
ago.
Hydra, then he will control you too.
Yeah. So we need to not let that happen.
Agreed.
I think his name was Zork.
Yes.
He lives at that pile of rocks on the hilltop. Chicken bones.
Orcs should be ruled by orcs.
I've scarcely left the village.
I turn toward the other orc. It's a greenhorn. You don't drink?
He shifts his jawline. I drink. I don't have a drink.
So what kind of orc go on expedition without bringing a drink? As I grab my wineskin and start sipping on it. And I weighed the weight of it. Say, I don't know how long we're gonna take on that hunt. I'm afraid I don't have enough to share.
He narrows his eyes. I will make do.
I'm sitting on the ground next to the fire, dragging one of my claws through the dirt, making a circle and drawing little symbols in the sand and dirt.
After the
The
fire
ants
is
crawl back to Omelette. It looks like some of them gathering by the symbols as they turn from a dozen of ants to a couple hundreds of ants, adding more symbols, spelling out something in Druidic. A warning. Turn back.
Master Kaharn.
I turn toward Omelette without saying anything.
Are you sure about this expedition?
Sure. Sure can be. What's your worry, boy?
Even if we succeed, the necromancer, he can't be trusted.
I know that. The necromancer can be trusted. The chief cannot be trusted. I lean closer. I said, this other guy cannot be trusted. It's only you and Rat I can trust.
I'm grabbing my bow and arrow. I'll hunt for some game, master, for the night.
Good initiative.
Let me. Hagrid stands up. I want to watch you hunt. I will join you, so I can report to Kaharn how you've performed.
I clutch my bow. The game will be my report. I can make no noise. Easy to hunt alone. And I look at Kaharn's direction.
Hagrid looks to Kaharn as well for his input.
Let the goblin do the work. You can rest. That's why we have those we keep those goblins around.
He nods, sits back down.
I
Save your energy.
strap the arrow on my back, and I run on, like hopping on all fours into the woods.
Approaching the
ants-
fire.
The ants have changed shape, forming new symbols. Hieroglyphs in Druidic. Two omelets, wise eyes. They read Guardian has awakened. And then symbols of trees. Before the ants seemingly scatterbrained, confused about their location, wandering back to where they came from, where the skull was located, seeking for sustenance.
I watch the ants scatter away, and I use my claw to scratch out the symbols and smear it back to being flat again.
Chicken Bones approaches the fire. Warrior not Greenhorn, you can eat with me. Pulls out a musket of iron, sets a pot over the fire with a tripod and chain. Then pulls out a brick of a cracker. Has to pull out his warhammer to crush a chunk of it off. Crushes it and puts it into water.
It can sit with that red for a while. Red bastard will return with some meat.
I look at the cracker in the pot and I say, yeah, that sounds very appetizing. I get up, I stretch my back, and I start walking away from the fire toward where the human I cut the head of, where it was hung.
The human body gone at this point. Drag marks everywhere. Chunks and bits spread about of his clothing.
I look at the tree where the branch where the rope was attached. Trying to look for remnant of rope.
The rope itself hanging, sliced.
I grab the end of the rope. I look at how it was cut. Clean cut.
The cut itself is incredibly clean. Each fiber aligning perfectly.
I turn toward the fire and I speak loudly enough, a few paces away so they can hear me. Say, something took the body here away. And the rope has been cut clean, so it's not a beast. That's been done with a blade, a sharp blade, very sharp.
Hagrid looks confused. I thought we are still in Orcish lands. Who would dare to cross the border?
I look at him. As I told you, the human were killed. Where on Orcish land? Like I point where at the tree. Right here. That's where we fought them. That's right by my hut.
He
I point
nods.
toward the upside down tree a little further away. See, we're clearly inside the. So human are encroaching.
Where one human crawls out of, 10 more will. I will reach for my warhammer and keep it close.
Yes.
I could have some human tonight.
Hadron scratches his chin. The humans grow like hydras. Kill one, 2 more grow in its place.
No, that's
not how it
fucking stupid.
works. So I slapped him on the head.
As I'm seated next to the fire, I'm studying chicken bones as he's got this kettle over the fire and on a tripod, and he's got his warhammer. I look at the pack on his back. It's full of other things, and I say to Chicken Bones, "Why do you carry so much?"
Surprised, I will move away from the wispy voice of Onward. Huh? Why do I carry so much? Why do you carry so little? These tools are here to ease our fight against, well, he will wave to all the forest around him. Steel is still stronger than wood. It is stronger than any hide or bone. That is why we're here. That is why we all use steel.
You make so much noise.
That's why I'm not out hunting.
I shift a little bit, and the shield that I have slung on my back comes off my shoulder, and I hold it out in front of me. It's not made of metal. It's a tortoise shell reinforced with wood, and I present it to Chicken Bones.
I will pick it up. Look at one side then the other. I can put a band of iron around it for you. Then not even a dwarven hammer will break it.
I don't see
Come
the
back
need.
to sit around the fire, and I'm looking at the interaction. Interested.
If my shield breaks, I could get another.
I will shake my head. Same for me. Same earth that grew that tortoise is the one that's giving us all this iron. You just have to dig deep.
Digging is for goblins, Hadron remarks.
That I can agree. I just stay in the forge. Goblins come in with coal and iron. I make steel. Steel makes dead things.
So you're sure you're not half dwarf?
I am. Last time they dragged some dwarf back to camp, I ate so much.
Red bastard.
I am kneel down on the ground, pulling an arrow out of a fat hair. I lick the arrow and tie the hare's leg on a knot on a little piece of rope around me, alongside another bird. And I get another arrowhead, and I keep going. I'm walking towards the direction where the Orcish boy was killed. Both looking for animals and trying to see the body.
A survival check.
Wollen wir die Biscuitkarten vornehmen?
7.
The body's gone. Parts of ripped off clothing that might have belonged to the boy scattered. Looks like the forest half has reclaimed the flesh.
I approach it, lowering down my bow and arrow. Like, I look around, trying smelling the air.
Smells fresh, earthy forest floor. The birds are chirping, undisturbed by your presence. Animals hiding from your sight. But a scuffle in a bush of something small hiding out of sight.
I point my bow and arrow, draw it, release the arrow into the bush.
Attack. Disadvantage.
Das ist ein kleiner Piss. Den beruhigt das.
Is a 3rd.
A wet foot. Something struck.
Yeah. Good. Square towards it. Put my hand into the bush. Grab whatever it is. Pull out.
Your hands spiked by something sharp. You take 3 piercing damage.
I yelp and fall back. Shaking my hand. Some droplets of blood.
Long needle sticking out of your hand.
I start pulling stand with my mouth. The needles. After the whole ordeal, I start cutting off a bit of the bush to drag the porcupine out by its leg. I carefully tie it on my belt of game, licking my hands. That's enough. I carefully, holding my hand so to not drop blood on the floor. I hold it like this and make my way back, looking at the sky to see how dark it's getting.
The animal itself screeching with its high-pitched voice, like ragging for air. Only a matter of time until it will bleed out. The sun on the horizon, but not yet setting. It's the afternoon.
I'm sitting on my log, drinking. Yeah, so suddenly, I get up and I make a few steps back toward, just a few steps back toward where the corpse was hanging. And I say, "Those human beings so close doesn't suit well with me. I almost feel like going after them more than the other beast. Can't stand having human clothes. Last time they wouldn't bother us while we were sleeping."
I will step right behind Kaharn. One hunt will make you a war chief. Then you can have as many orcs fighting the humans as you want.
Maybe they have placed some tracks, cutting down the bodies that will lead to the village.
Chicken bones make a point. If we can get this Hydra, and we can use it, you can then use it against the human, and then we can make ourselves chief. But then again, human just under our nose. I lean in the ground, and I start like looking for tracks. Rubbing my finger in the dust. Oh, wait. I don't know. They should be. It's been too long, I guess. And then I just like put my hand and I just brush dirt in frustration. Yeah, maybe we should focus. Where's that fucking goblin? I'm famished.
No tracks in sight, except for the torn pieces of what the humans used to be wearing. It's suspicious. Suspicious absence of any tracks that stands out.
They start coming out of the woods, dragging 4 small to medium sized small prey in view of the camp. Now walk towards it.
I thought I had mealtime at last. Let's go back toward the
Right.
fire.
Making my way to the fire in silence. I'm already like sitting down and start like skinning some of the animals.
Und für das, was du machst,
Kaharn squints his eyes. Ah, the scent of blood. It invigorates me.
Let's chuckle a bit.
I'm still by the fire, stoking it with some new branches and logs to keep it alive.
Chicken Bones approaches Omelette, sitting down on the same log. His hands visibly shaking. He will look to Omelette and back to his hands. Then he will notice that Omelette does not seem nervous at all, even at the eve of a hunt. Are you doing fine?
I'm staring into the fire at one of the glowing coals, and I look over at Chicken Bones, and I say, I am uninjured.
I see.
I toss the porcupine at Chicken Bones' feet. Help skin it. Food faster this way.
He will look down and without even thinking about anything else, pick it up by one of its spines. A wickedly sharp dagger comes out of his mesket. He cuts at the line of the spines. Curious beast.
I haven't eyed porcupine in a long while. It's a good catch.
They don't wander in the village. That's for sure.
Not many game, Master Khan. They've been driven away. I'm pulling like the final piece of leather from the hair. It's just flesh now.
Muttering as he works. What manner of god created all these beasts? Spikes, hydras, birds.
I pointed the cauldron that the biscuit was in. So if you don't like it, you got your biscuit.
I'm watching Chicken Bones work his knife, skinning the porcupine, and I ask, do you have a small piece of scrap iron that I could have?
It shouldn't be one, but here. I stepped on an arrow. A bent arrow. It seems that Chicken Bones sat on top of it. Thankfully, it didn't go into him.
I take the little iron arrowhead and look at it, and I just kind of rub my thumb on it for a little while, feeling the sharp edge.
I grab some branch laying around, and I pull my knife out and I start making like skewer. And I grab some of the meat that the rat bastard like finished like butchering, put it on the skewer, put that on the fire.
I'll take a leg.
I set the arrowhead on top of one of the red hot coals and watch as it begins to heat up a little bit. And then I make my way over to the skin and the entrails that have been gutted out of our prey, and help myself to a long strand of intestines that I slurp up like a noodle.
I'm skinning down the last animal. Every now and then I stop to lick like my hands that have been wounded, as well as with mix it a bit with the blood of the animal. Do you wish me to take the first watch, Master Kaharn?
I look around and say, nah. Greenhorn is gonna take the first watch.
He's licking his fingers clean of bits and giblets, looking up, giving a grunt.
The first watch is good because then you can rest for the rest of the night.
I'll take the last watch. I wake up early anyway.
I look at Chicken Bones. Are your eyes not adjusted to the darkness? I'm smirking a bit.
Test it, Goblin.
I step like back once. Humans are daywalkers. Figured you as well.
You can do a lot more if you get up slightly before the sun does.
Why you want to do so much?
A war chief is not a war chief if at least each orc has a weapon. I can see. He points to Kaharn's weapon. That's a rat bastard. I made at least half of these.
I grab one of my short sword. I put it out. I look at it, inspect the blade. Is that one of yours? I grab it by the blade and offer the handle.
I approach, running a thumb slowly over the back of the blade. This one, yes, I think it is.
I grab it back.
Yeah.
That served me well.
I get both.
Put it back in the sheet. I turn the meat around. letting it roast.
I reach into the fire and using just the tips of my claws, I grab the little arrowhead off the coal as it's at this point it's starting to turn red with the heat. And I pick it up and drop it immediately on the dirt in front of me. And scoop some of the dirt on top of it and kind of pile it on there.
Oh, you ruined it. That's when you should put your hammer out.
I'm looking at
Some
what
steam
Tom is
rising.
doing.
Couple of the grass tips singeing, catching fire, snuffing out.
I can teach it if you want.
I seem to ignore chicken bones as I grab my water skin and pour a little bit of water on it, and the steam hisses and sizzles.
I say he's gonna make grow some more arrowhead. Just look at it.
Satisfied that it's cooled off enough, I touch it carefully and then put it into my component pouch.
I'm like now nibbling at some meat, analyzing greenhorn.
Hadron is finished with his skewer, starts tearing the flesh, biting into his hedgehog.
I'm filling my belly as well with the meat that is roasted now.
Well-fed chicken bones will get up from the log, tap Greenhorn's shoulder. Take first watch then, brother. I'll take last. I will rest now. I will scurry over and pull out a bedroll and sleep under a tree.
I pick through the remaining entrails and see if there's anything that I'm interested in, and I find a piece of liver that I scarf down.
Look
I
at how
stand up.
You see, you know, you can have some of that roasted meat. Right?
Yes, master.
It's as you please.
I stand up. I'm looking at everybody where they're going at. I approach Greenhorn. I point to a fallen log. There is a good spot for the first watch.
He looks over, turns back to Red Bastard. I think you're right, Goblin.
Yes, yep. When the moon comes up, casts shadows on you, but you can see the rest.
I will wake you for the second watch. Let Kaharn know he can rest peacefully. See, wanders off to the spot.
I mutter, he knows. He knows.
I'm sipping on my wine, scarfing down some meat, finishing a last morsel. I wipe my big lip. So, well, I'll go get some shut-eye. And I go inside the hut and lie down there.
I follow behind Kaharn and I curl up in a ball on the floor at his feet.
Instead of going to the tent, Yeah. Go a little far back from the tent. Climb up a tree. There's a spot with a some ragged cloth in a makeshift hammock way above the ground. I start getting cozy there, holding my dagger to my chest. I start slowly relaxing.
Hadron nudges chicken, turns his head towards chicken bones. You should sleep as well. The night has come. Let me watch. Go on, half-breed. Pass out already.
All right.
Stehst jetzt einfach nur in der Ecke rum.
My character will nod back to sleep.
Few hours pass. Red Bastard is woken up. The tree, a knock against the tree, stirring the branches.
First shake, I stand up on my hammock, holding it, almost flipping upside down. Yes, yes.
It's your turn.
Still holding the dagger. Yes. I stretch a bit. Like I grab my ears, like kind of, did like this motion with them. Like, yes. I jump down from the tree. Like, them.
Before I go, tell me, how long have you worked for Kaharn?
A few moons now. 5, 6, 7. Don't keep count. He killed previous master.
He nods. That is the way. Nodding to himself. Now, some orcs told me some nasty stuff about Kaharn. I want to know what you think about it. Did he kill an orc child? And he leans in close, his eyes narrow, staring into yours.
Back away with my upper body. Goblins shouldn't speak ill of master. And I narrow my eyes.
Make a persuasion check.
Uh, 7. Actually, 9.
He says, a goblin should also know to hold his tongue when an orc asks you, what do you know? Speak. And he now grabs your left arm. He reaches for your left arm with a quick snatch, holding tightly.
Like I'm trying to get free. I'm much like, yes, yes. Let it go.
He lets go. Good. I see.
Mark of 4 big sausage fingers on my arm.
He looks at the ground, disturbed. Thank you. That is all I need to know.
I frown when he says, like, thank you. Like, I'm rubbing my arm. Now sleep. I go to my... I go to the stump, but I keep looking at him to see where he goes to sleep.
Spot by the campfire, using the log as a pillow, enjoying the cool night air.
I go to my watch, and I pay attention to see when he falls asleep, and once he does it, I silently make my way into the hut.
He appears to take a while, like something is churning in that noggin of his before he can pass out.
After maybe 15 minutes, I make my way into the hut, and I silently try to see where Omelette's pouch is.
It's
Spotting it if it's beside him or not.
it's on a sash at my waist as I curled up at the foot of Kaharn's bed.
I try to open it without waking him up, trying to grab the potion.
Ja, wenn wir den gleich kaufen, oder mit Funktion.
16.
With a 16, the omelet does not notice anything.
I pull out the potion that the necromancer gave us. Nicely open it. With my other hand, I drip a little bit of the poison in. Close it back. Like holding it. Like I'm like sweating a bit as I'm trying to put it back on close.
Good. A couple of drops sink into the potion itself, and it changes in color slightly. It will dampen the healing effect.
I let go of the flap of the satchel, and on fours I start crawling like slowly back to my second watch spot.
A perception check, red bastard.
$20.
Sitting up there, the trees still, not moving. Wolf howls in the distance, but some of the trees are not positioned where they were yesterday.
I'm still low to the ground. I lower my ears even more, trying to get flat as I can. I start making my way to the tree where my makeshift hammock is, looking at trying to spot something out of the ordinary.
It's like the wind blowing through the brush, through the underbrush and the trees, rustling. But a couple of the brushes rustle in the opposite direction.
I stop mid crawling, and now I scurry really fast inside the hut, and I shake Omelette. Omelette, wake up!
I stir awake and I'm on my belly, my arms in front of me, my head resting on my hands.
I'm still sweaty. I point to the flap door. Something's afoot.
I stand up, looking at Kaharn as he's still resting in his bed, and
You go check with me before you make a big noise. I snarl like outside. Something's not right.
I creep up to the door flap and lift it and poke my head out. Glance around.
A perception check.
The sleep is still in my eyes. I kind of blink multiple times.
Everything is looking fine. Some shrubs are standing. Red bastard. It's weird. The shrub was not placed here before. It's full of thorns. And the wood itself starts stretching out and smack you across the body, striking you viciously for 4 slashing damage. As the shrub itself moves to fight you.
Red bastard or omelet?
Red bastard.
I get knocked off, and I flung into the air. This time now I'm screaming loud enough. I fall down. I get flung across the fire. And I'm screaming, attack! Coughing a bit. Attack!
I wake up. So I sit on the side of the bed, shaking my head. I say, oh, what the fuck again?
Chicken Bones is quick to his feet, although he doesn't have his armor, and it shows. He seems more squeamish, more careful, clutching a warhammer and a shield close to himself.
Veteran shakes groggily awake. And with that, I think we are on time. We will end the session for tonight.
No. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think Nicholas needs to leave early today. So
I'm running on Cinderella
90...
rules here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's a 90-minute movie today.
Yeah, with a big cliffhanger, right?
I like that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we still want to have some time to talk. We still have I don't know what time you need to leave.
How much time do you have? I
can be here for maybe 15 more minutes, but you guys can keep on decompressing after.
Yeah. Share your thought then.
Yeah. Actually, I was one thing. This is with Conway, and it's gonna be interesting because I know you said you mostly run games, right? You're not very used to playing them. And at least in the beginning of the game, I noticed how you kept using third person for your character.
Yeah.
Now towards the half end, you revert back to first person. I thought that was very nice.
Yeah, I'm very much used to third person in all forms of RP. I did notice that too, specifically when I first introduced Chicken Bones, and after when he was sitting on the fence waiting for Kaharn. I said it in third person because I like describing in third person. My brain is sort of wired that way. Third person past tense is also how you read books, and I like reading, right? So I think that's what I gravitate towards.
I'm more a fan of first person because for me it's all about seeing the world through the eyes of a character, right? So you try to put yourself in that head.
Yeah.
You feel when you imagine the scene, do you see it from outside? Or?
It depends. I think I can have both. I really like reading books, and in books I am into seeing it from the outside in. I think that in the roleplay you do see it more of an inside in, but I'm sort of like the reporter, I'm seeing it in the eyes of my character, but to convey it to you guys, I'm describing it as if I were a third person observer, right? And I think that works. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. I guess it didn't have 15 minutes.
We kicked him out. Good job, guys.
He's out. Crimes against roleplay.
Oh my god. What's happening?
Oh, no, it's Secret that left. Okay, sorry, I thought it was Nicholas that left.
No, Nicholas.
I'm here.
Yeah, it's Calvin that left.
Yeah.
I see. That was one thing I wanted to comment. Another one was I felt like having another player was. I was trying to not talk much because I wanted everybody to go around, and then you had an extra NPC, so okay, we have 6 people here
Welcome
that
back.
need time to talk, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I kept thinking about that the whole time. I think it
Yeah.
changed a little bit of my perspective of when to chime in. That's why when I went to hunt,
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be really silent unless Zolar calls me. It's just assume that I'm hunting and nothing in particular is happening, because I want to give some time for people to interact as well.
You can see my reaction to that as well, because in 2 ways. At first, when I said, Chicken Bones follows Kaharn into the tent, I was anchoring myself in the world. But then there were like 5 characters doing things in the scene. So if I stepped
Yeah.
into anchor at every point, then I would be interrupting. So I didn't anchor as much. I think that was a positive thing. Otherwise, Chicken Bones looks at the conversation. It wouldn't add much.
I think it's a good habit when especially when you have a larger group to go around, right? Stay like a little more in the round robin kind of format, so everybody can get a chance to do anchoring. And if you can do like a short anchoring like that, like I'm just like, just listening to the conversation, just paying attention, right? Then you can just move on to the next guy, and it didn't take that long. And that's why also like sometimes I do try to take I would leave some break, right? And I did something there, right? we can come back to me later, but like I want to give you a chance to jump in, right? So
It's
I
very
really-
weird. I feel like to add a point to this, I was constantly thinking about moving the scenes ahead, like next day
Yep.
or after eating, instead of cooking all of the meat, I want to skip ahead. And I was like, well, should I interrupt them? And I think at this point it's a theme with me. It's the 4th session, and I have the same feeling still. And I don't know if I should. And I think it's mostly because we role play the 4D way. Usually I would say, okay, let's move on. I would say it like that. Like interrupt.
my only complaint wouldn't be in that aspect. Yes, I think that we dove too deeply
Lingered.
into the camping session. It was it was a lot of camping roleplay, and that was fun. I think it was good quality roleplay, because I really love the dynamics that Chicken Bones developed with Rat Bastard and Omelet, because no one is perfectly accepted in Orcish culture, but it's different, right? Goblin is more of a servile role, and I loved Rat Bastard, like pushing his boundaries there with Chicken Bones as well. And it was some level of like separation of like the half orc from the lower ranks as well, with him taking care of the tools. And I like the craftsman aspect. I think it's an interesting like take on orcish culture as well, right? Because you need weapons, so having someone that works diligently and pulling that from the human side is pretty cool. It was almost like an unspoken appreciation of his human side, which I really enjoyed. I think it was really good quality roleplay. And from Omelet, he also is not fully accepted, but in a different way. And I think my character sort of meshed with his better in that sense, especially with the druidic versus more industrial part of human culture. I think that was really good.
I think this contrast with like you being kind of like very industrious, right? It's interesting because I wanted to like Kaharn like kind of find it weird, right? Just like kind of like, why you have to do so much? Right? Just like,
yeah, and the short sword scene was perfect because it was like an unspoken appreciation of that, and really good.
I really liked how like it felt really human, like like the way the character portrayed himself, even if he didn't try to. I think it bled through, which was a very good way to show that he's half human.
Yeah,
I was thinking to myself,
you bought a biscuit, like everybody's like eating raw meat. You're like, oh, let me actually do some actual rations,
The human urge
I will
to eat
wait
bread,
until
yes.
the goblin returns with the meats. It's like enjoy the soup, but maybe we can add something raw to it.
Yep.
I was thinking to myself that even though the half orcs are unique, or they're I guess rare, there's probably a few, like a handful of them in the camp, right? You're probably not the only half orc. So I thought it's like a rare, unique thing, but not. I keep using the word unique, but I don't mean to.
Yeah, no worries.
An uncommon thing, but
yeah, like I don't know like how they would be treated, right? Just like that, because it's established that there's like some pleasure slave, so I assume there would be like some So I assume there would be sometimes some half work coming out of it. And then like how
It's,
would they
Oh,
do a lot of
The
them like
circle of
don't
life.
there was one moment where I think because I was trying to imply that Red Bastard called Chicken Bones a mule because he's a half.
Yeah.
And I think you understood of a mule as the actual animal because I did the
Yes.
joke with the pack mule, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
will roll with it. But I was going
But
with that.
I-
You
A
should.
hybrid
got it.
joke. No, I get it.
got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
no,
was good though, because it
no,
was like an in-character misconception as well. I think it was pretty cool.
Okay.
yeah. But I guess
Kaharn doesn't
the
even know what mules
Kaharn
are.
Pa'up's lack of respect for Red Bastard overtook it.
Yeah.
I was wondering where you would rank them on the hierarchy. Is Goblin lower than half orc or the other way around? You know.
Oh, I would think so. I think half orcs are like slightly accepted as an orc. They're like bottom of the barrel orcs, but they're still kind of orcs. Is the way I was like playing it out to be.
Yeah.
And then earlier you said, I think you said like only 3 orcs. I was waiting for you to correct yourself and say like 2.5 or something. Like
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said that.
2.5 orcs.
Yeah.
that's the alternate
And it-
title
Dum,
of this
dum.
episode. 2.5 orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I took it in character as being him, him accepting me as part of the hunt. I really like that because I said 3 orcs, in a way of like, am I accepted into this hunt as like a member of it? Can I be proud in being in this hunt? And he said
Yeah.
3 orcs, and in character, I took that. Oh yeah, okay, I'm a member of this.
But also like I try to treat like the other one, the real orc, right? The NPC, I like kind of like on a higher standard, but I also in the same time is young and a
Yeah.
bit annoying.
By the way, what? Because you kept saying like Angstrom or something, and everybody was calling him Grimhorn. I'm like, what is the name after all?
Is my audio quality bad? I say Hagrin. H-A-G.
Okay, Agrin. I was like Agrin. Like it's like, but then everybody was calling him Grimhorn, like Greenhorn.
Yeah,
Greenhorn,
Oh, okay,
That's an expression.
Kaharn called him Greenhorn, so I called him Greenhorn as well because I want to be the in with the orcish way of calling him, I guess.
that's an expression, greenhorn. It's like somebody like
Yeah.
this young and
It's like a
unproven,
green bean. Yeah, I get
It's
you.
inexperienced when you're inexperienced.
inexperienced. Yeah, it's like
yeah, and
Karn Karn have nickname for people.
Yeah, I was just
and-
confused because yeah, but it's fine.
and there's a point where I said, the guy's bigger than me because he's an actual orc. So I said the lad is bigger than me, but he's still
Younger.
young. I made his spear. I really like that scene too, yeah, because
Mhm.
it showed that like I am below in the totem pole because I'm a half orc, but I'm also like a more experienced warrior. So I think it was pretty interesting as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Was,
I want to say too, like you were talking about like moving the scene around. At some point, you did move us. You did teleport us somewhere like at the start in Zoltark. There was still something I wanted to do in the Zoltark's home, right, before leaving. But then when you
Oh.
came back to the scene, you said, "Oh, now you're outside," and said, "Well, I didn't say I was going outside, so but that's fine."
I would
right?
I would say that there was an issue with how long we stayed at the camp. I think that scene
Yeah.
dragged on. We did a lot of cool role play, but there should have been like a cutting point there.
Can I chime in because I'll really just say this and I have to go about the lingering on. I thought it was because we agreed to do a shorter session, so I kind of had the impression we kind of gonna end at the camp, so we might as well end at a point where not in the middle of something major.
Yep.
That's why my impression. That's why I also helped on slowing things down. Maybe I'll catch the rest of the compression later, guys. I'm sorry I have to go right now, but
Sounds good.
Take care,
thanks
Nicholas.
for the time.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us.
Hyped for the
The-
next time.
Like in the lingering on, right? That's something we've struggled a lot about it with the other group as well, right? And the time skip and stuff like that. When can you time skip? When can you scene skip? Move people around, right? And the agreement that we try to have, that we usually have, is like we try to stay in round robin, right? Going around the table.
Yeah.
And usually what we say is like, if you do like just an anchoring action, so just something like meaningless, like or not very significant, and then that's your turn, and everybody that around do that, then you can. It's okay to move the scene in time or in location, right? If you're traveling. So sometimes that's why I would just throw out an lingering action when I'm still I'm just sitting in the log and starting drinking my wine, right? That's me. I don't have anything to contribute else to that scene, right? If everybody else around do such action, then that's a sign. Say, okay, we're done with that scene, right? But when somebody else keep introducing something new, well, you're kind of keeping the scene alive. So there's also this thing about knowing when the scene is done, when it's time to move on, right? But you don't want to rush people, because if somebody else still want to contribute something, right? So that's something sometimes you want to do something cool in your scene. But if you do something cool, or if you do something that's interesting or that's seem meaningful, we're gonna stay here to give you a chance to have it bear fruits, right?
That is true.
And that's definitely the communal part of role playing, right? We're a group of people joining together to role play something. So you want to have everybody have their chance to speak and to speak what they want to talk about.
Yeah,
I think survival and traveling is commonly brought up as one of the things that's hard to role play. But I think given those circumstances, given that it's sort of universally considered difficult, I think we did a pretty good job. I didn't feel like there was any real a certain scene might have taken longer or gone on for longer than perhaps we were expecting or hoping for, but it still felt pretty natural to me, I think.
And I think there's also this thing when there's new character. I think you want to take some time to establish those relationships, right? Establish the dynamic between them. So that's also when in traveling, I wanted to spend some time talking with the new guys, right? Trying to size them up.
There were 2 new guys as well.
Yeah.
I know with you, Crispy talked about in the other games, Horizon. I forgot the name. Max is playing as a white guy this game. Oh no, wait, that's Max. The other face is the orc.
Yeah, and the worst part is we resemble. Me and the character resemble each other more than just physically.
Oh, so you eat humans too, I see.
You also drink wine while the sun is still up.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're a lactose tolerant, then you are an orc.
So I was just reflecting on your other game of trying to get NPCs out of the way and out of the scene so that the players can role play more.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that self-insert qualifies as role playing though.
No, it's on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So new NPC and
I should
join the party. Go ahead. You take it.
I should say, I think this might be a session 0 thing. I don't think I watched the session 0 for this game. I should have, because I don't know what pacing you guys were going for. I think I was imagining in my head more of a movie style pacing, where you do have some traveling scenes, but they're not as pronounced. I think that instead this session had more of a prolonged series pacing, Game of Thrones. And that was good because we got to introduce the characters very well. I think I was just seeking a different experience.
I tend to do I'm much slower in pacing than most people, so that's part of my problem, right? I like taking my time, right? Because I like those interaction. I like we have a lot of tension between character as well, right? You see even with the Rat Bastard with Nicholas, right?
Exactly.
And I enjoy those little I want to take time in those little scenes, right? When we do stuff and I made a comment at some point, Kaharn, you just say oh, it's just only you and Rat I can trust, right? And that's funny because I can clearly not trust Rat.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. And I should say that I think it was very good, high quality roleplay, because it wasn't oh, I take a bite of the bread, I pass you the bread, I take a bite of the bread. No, even the fact that I brought up a cracker was something deeper in the roleplay, because my character is more of less of an orc.
Yeah.
I think every single line, he's eating something other than meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then
every single
line
line
back later, right?
Yeah, every single line we spoke to one another had the text, and it also has the subtext behind it, right?
Yeah.
You can read
Yeah,
it like much deeper into what we said.
I think that's a good thing, right? Every line should tell something, right? It tells something more, right? And you do something, it's just like, even if it seems meaningless, you can look at something more behind it, right? Just like, and have a little bit of a
I think we did that very well. It was instant mashing. And our characters
That's
did
why
very well.
that's why like I don't mind when we take more time, because it's not just like what Shauna would have called like patty cake, right? It's not just like throwing
Yes.
around like in it's not like just a shopping scene that doesn't end, right? There's like you learn something about the character, like you about the dynamic between them, like this always there's always some kind of power play, right? Just like, and that's why I don't
Yeah, and I
necessarily
really
want to rush
enjoyed
that.
that. That's why I said
Yeah.
it was high quality roleplay.
Yeah, and it was the first time role playing with you, Connor. Was that
Oh,
Connor?
yeah, that was my first time playing as a character in 4D at all. I ran 4D
Already?
games, but I
Oh.
never played them. Yeah, I'm more of a GM, which is what
Oh.
Nicholas mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
Well, I
That's
think
good.
you did very well. Like you really bring in something in your character, like I guess the you talking in third person, like kind of I find kind of strange sometimes because I'm not used to it. But in the same time, I don't know. It wasn't too bothering because it's just like I'm just not used to it. So there's a bit of it's a bit of like a it's talking in third person, but then like I get what you. It's just I don't know. It was just surprising at some point.
Yeah, Shauna did
prior-
that too.
Go ahead.
Shauna roleplayed quite a bit in third person, if I recall correctly, which is fine. I don't think one is better than the other.
Yeah, I only roleplayed once with Connor, and he did it in first person that game. But I think that's also like a part of what we agreed upon in the social contract. Then Rick was the GM, and Rick I think is the man first person.
I don't think that doing it in third person is a problem. I think that flip flopping through the session was a problem. I should have kept with one until the end.
Why we have like this comments every stream? As a barber, just comments every stage of beard growth. Every stream we have this comment from. I think it's I don't know something weird. Is that a real person? But you know,
it
like
might be it'd be a very sophisticated AI if it can detect beard lengths and do comparison.
well, it's just a random. I don't know. The first person, third person. Oh, you say I hope I'm real. So there you go.
Welcome.
Prove you're not a
first
brain
person
in a
and
jar.
third person, yeah, I do like as a barber. I do change my beard somewhat often. I guess more often than most people. Oftentimes commit to a beard style. I change quite a bit, I think. But
I just don't shave. That's the problem.
yeah, like for me, like the first person's third person, it's mostly a personal thing, right? I feel for me like if I role play in first person, I feel more inside the item, in the mindset of my character. While if I try to role play in third person, like it create this distance, right? And when I'm seeing the scene from outside and seeing the scene from inside the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that might vary for a different person, right? If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother you.
I feel like, especially because I GM, as much as I roleplay, pretty much it's back and forth. It's I often think about like while we play on how do I keep the pacing interesting and like move to interesting scenes for my players to express themselves. So I don't imagine myself as like, oh yeah, this time I'm Hadron, this time I'm the other guy, Santor or something.
No,
I just imagine the camera pointing at them. Like, how can I frame this interestingly?
When I'm GMing, I do look at the scene from the outside. Even though when I'm role playing like NPCs, I don't go in the air, but you know they're NPCs, right? Like but when I'm playing, it's different. It's a different. Like, so of course I talk in third person when I'm GMing. I wanted to address this comment by Dice earlier. He said the Goblin was amazing. If I had any criticism of this, it would be that there were some long pause between people saying what they were doing, and I felt that as well, because like some kind of dead air, right?
Like between turns.
Between turns, right? Like but I think like it's almost like maybe because we didn't stick to a good turn order, so like people didn't
Yeah.
dare like, oh, is it my turn to speak, right? And that thing. But also, this is a very international game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there might be some delay. So sometimes we try not to speak on top of each other, right? So I don't know like how it transfer right to
Yeah, when I anchored Chicken Bones as following Kaharn, I think I sort of interrupted you a little bit, so I was a little bit more careful with that. I was waiting a bit longer. There is that issue.
There was at the very start, I was very intentionally starting with Kaharn to go clockwise,
Yeah.
but then you cut in line with Chicken Bones, and instead of describing what you did for 3 days, you jumped into a scene with another player character. So now
That's
you
fine.
started the role play. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. Like everybody should set up the scene and then you start role play.
But I like
you
see
know.
that might be my lack of experience because I did not catch that at all. Like the
yeah. No,
thought
I like
process. Didn't
but
catch that at
I
all.
like what you did. Well, yeah, usually that's what we do.
Yeah, it
We go
was good.
We do clockwise. But I like what you did
Yeah.
there. Although like you did also put me in the fort when all right, we're starting the game there. Like I didn't establish properly where I was, right?
True.
So
So
Well, you
Can
said
I
you were
interject
sharpening the axe. Of course, go ahead.
do you have the ability to rearrange our portraits in this window
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can just swap you around like that.
All right. Well, I don't know. Just hypothetically, in the future, if we were to like have an order,
Yeah.
we could just rearrange the portraits or the streams so that we're in the order that we
Yeah,
should.
It's
that's
weird
okay.
because
But-
I feel like we change the order like semi-regularly because
Mhm.
one player has something to say because it
Yeah.
would fit his character. So he
Exactly.
wants
What if I
like,
want to talk
jump
to
in.
Kaharn? So
Like
Yeah.
then we have a back
usually
and forth, and then it gets a little bit more confusing.
usually what we because that's also like the problem that we encountered before, right? When we're playing with Crispy and Phil and Rick, and usually what what we decided is like we try to stick in the round robin kind of order,
Mhm.
unless another character is being like directly
Addressed.
interacted with,
Yeah.
addressed, yeah, or interacted with, then you can go to this character. And you can have like a few back and forth. We should like you're gonna try to go 2 back and forth, and then we go around again. Give a chance to people to exist in the world. And if they all only do anchoring action, that's them saying you can keep doing your interaction between you two. That's fine with us, right? I'm just like here fucking around or paying attention to what you're saying, looking what the other situation and roll, right? So that's the thing, right? When you play with people, like you get a vibe and you get like an order, and
Yes.
you get like this, it's a group, a new group. There's this thing that you get this dynamic at some point that develop. I think so it's an important thing that happen over time. And we had all those issues before. Now we're kind of like ironing the kink, and there's some session that we're not great at it either. Sometimes we messed up, like we're all like cutting each other or like going too long, having this turnflation.
I had a couple of run-ins with the system itself being a bit in the way, and I think it's me still like trying to use my flexing the 5e muscles that I have
Yeah.
of like calling out for perception checks here and there.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
what you need
want
to do
to
when you
add
play 5e. If you don't roll
Yeah.
perception check all the time, or you playing 5e.
because for me it's like I want to show how the NPC acts when Kaharn is not looking, but I don't want to put it in the mouth of the other players of like, this is what you see, let me move my eyes for you. So I asked Red Bastard to roll perception check. He had a success, so I described the
Yeah.
scene.
That's interesting. Like what the way I would do it, if it was me, I would just describe what the NPC is doing, right? And
Yeah.
let the player decide if his character pick up on it or not, right?
Would you still do it like that as Kaharn turns to talk to the other guy? Because that's what you were doing. His eyes darken and his expressions darken and lighten
So-
up when he turns around again.
With that,
Ja, relativ ist so.
What?
Go ahead.
that's strange.
It's my wife still talking on the
Oh.
side, so I'm like, toggling on and off the mute button.
So, you were describing Chicken Bones' face, right?
No, I was describing Hadron, not Chicken Bone.
Oh,
Because
see.
I don't want to change how Chicken Bones is going to act. That's up to him.
Yeah, that's. I was a little confused about that. I guess I misunderstood in the scene. I was like, because I thought that the conversation was between Rat Bastard and Chicken Bones, and then so you were describing something that was happening with the old Greenhorn.
Yeah.
Concurrent with that. Okay.
Yeah. I still say you guys are too believable as orcs. Well, you know, I think the first third person come down to your way of thinking. I think more as an author than like an actor. So I tend to third person the game. Also, I don't want to the imagined scene to have built in it. Yeah, but I tried. Yeah, I tried to become the character and be in that scene, right? Just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I
think
am
it's
an
easier.
orc. I am an asshole. Just imagine yourself being a dickhead all the time. It's like,
I
oh,
don't
it
have to
becomes very
imagine.
easy for me. It's natural, you know? Like putting on a t-shirt.
yeah,
I think like Max is saying, like being in the headspace of the character and like trying to view it from the first person perspective. It for me it helps with like decision making and like because if I do that like bird's eye view, if I do that third person's perspective, I have too much like information that I'm trying to like consider. If I'm in the first person, I feel like I know what I'm doing. What am I like literally what am I doing with my hands? Like what is on my body right now? Like you
Yeah.
know, I'm wearing this, I'm sitting here, I'm doing that.
I like the way you started eating the ants, and it was so hilarious to me.
yes,
Well, you said it started crawling around, so like what would I do
Yeah.
if I had ants crawling on me? Sure, eat them.
that was very
I
good.
eat them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
those
else, you
anchoring scenes
guys?
are very important. Like
yeah.
even just like my character like soothing himself by running his fingers on
Yeah.
the whole symbol.
Yeah.
Right.
It tell you a little something about it. You know, like now, like you don't have to tell me my character is religious. I get it, right?
Exactly.
Like it's really like a case of show don't tell, right? And like, and omelet eating the ants. That's a very lizard thing to do, right? You have ants running on you, right? It's like, well, you're just eating them.
I really like how he ate one, but like got rid of the rest. Like I just wanted to taste.
Well, at a certain point, unless I got that long lizard tongue, maybe I got the snake flickery tongue. I can get the elbow, but
Yeah.
About a couple things. I was trying to introduce more elements because I'm also thinking like, okay, we doing all of the role play, but there's no action. So adding some pushes. I have some ideas and when to bring them up.
yeah, I liked that. So I was just like passively, just like kind of scribbling in the dirt with a claw, and you added in that the ants started like coming back and stuff. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I didn't get to roll anything this session, and that's okay. I think it was still a very fun session for me.
I'm sorry, you said you didn't 4D anything? Is that what you said?
You didn't
No,
roll.
I didn't get to roll anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've 4D'd quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, I made one roll when I was looking for track, and I guess I will never like I'm supposed to be like a fucking ranger, right?
Yes.
I always like roll like shit on my every time I try to do a ranger thing. So I'm probably like the worst fucking ranger ever.
It's a luck die, man. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I think I made a mistake of saying what you see after you already told me what you saw. You described your failure.
Yes,
and
I was describing my failure and my frustration, and just like just like
yeah.
I guess the track got too old. I just like fucking rub my hand in the dirt, trying to scramble, like not letting anybody a chance to roll for themselves or to look because I'm frustrated, right? It's like
it's great. It's great. I should have just taken that because I had something in mind of how the failure looks like. I should have just like kept that to myself after you decided to describe it.
Yeah, and there's a thing I wanted to say about the action too, right? Like for me, like it's about like it's not that he need action. It's need like conflict and drama and tension, right? And I think you can't have that if there's no fight. I mean, there's no like you're not running for your life. Like if there's like just the threat of something happening, right? And sometimes you get that, right? Like there's scheming being done, right? There's like this tension between character about like this push and pull and this like. So for me, that's satisfying enough, right? Just like I don't need blades don't necessarily need to be drawn and like blood don't need, it's like this just the threat that it could happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Just like
Speaking
It's
of,
also good to have a window into the world. My character had like a very interesting relationship with every single other character, even the Greenhorn, right? Because he was more of an orc than I was, but I was more of a warrior than he was. So it was like really interesting all around, and I was thoroughly entertained by these interactions and the role play and the subtle like nods that we pulled to one another during that role play. That was very good. I think my issue with the pacing was mostly out of a different a different expectation I had. I thought I expected more of like a movie-esque pacing, but the series pacing was good too. It's something perhaps that I should have checked in the social contract.
But it's like I said, I think that's I like when the pacing is kind of player driven.
Yeah.
But then the player has to understand like don't try to squeeze more juice of a scene when the scene is done, right?
Because the player kind of has to drive as well,
And
there is an aspect of player skill there as well.
Yes, because that's and in traditional play, right? You expect at some point that the GM just gonna let's skip to the next, and push the scene like kind of forcefully, and we try not to do that.
Yes.
Like we want to. So there's this thing, and I appreciate there's a lot of letting us like not forcing us like too much. Sometimes a little bit by accident. But like I appreciate that, right? Just like let us linger in a scene if we want to, but we need to be conscious not to linger on a scene by accident, right? Do it with purpose. If you want to linger on a scene if you want, that's fine. But if you have a purpose for it, right?
Otherwise, it just becomes biting into the bread and passing it along, right?
Yes,
I think that we did that well because
and then I take a bite, and then you.
Yeah. Oh, I take a bite. Oh, do you want some? Oh, yeah, I take a bite. I'm sorry. You were going to say something, Yakrep, and I think I interrupted you.
Yeah.
That'll be right. So I have two things I wanted to say. Number one, are you most likely going to be able to make it to our next session in a fortnight, in 2 weeks?
Definitely.
Awesome.
Good.
And the other thing I was going to say is I liked the interaction between you and Korn concerning the wine when he's talking smack about the current war chief for being too distracted by his indulgences, and you're like, aren't you also
indulging himself? Look.
Yeah. It would make sense for the half orc to have that like work ethic, especially if he became one of the blacksmiths.
I was waiting to see whether
I really like that.
Whether it'd be just like whether Korn would kind of let it roll off his back and just like, I don't give a shit about your opinion, or if he would snap and be like angry, like, no, your place trash, like the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, no, but I really like when you bring like this otherness by being like you're definitely like you're definitely like not fully orc, right? Like in your demeanor, right? Just like you play this half orc and you bring something that is meaningful about it, right? Just like about it's not just like cosmetic, it's not just like cosmetic, like you have something different, like you're not like you don't vibe like you have a different vibe.
Well, I think what was it you said? You're like, why was your mother a pleasure slave?
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, does this hit a little close to home for you? Is that why you're upset about me trash talking?
I was going back and forth, yeah. And we were so quick on the like snap responses, really good. And I turned right back and like, oh no, wine is your pleasure slave, right? Saying that, well, if you become a war chief, then you have to be careful with the alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, I like having the NPC with the group, because at some point I just like asked like, I think I've asked like why would they attack us? This is our territory, like to Kaharn, right?
Yeah.
Like so that you can establish more about the site of like where does the tree stand? Because it's your area, you know your ways around, and I get to ask you a question, but it's not the GM asking the player.
Mhm.
I can be the NPC who wants to know something.
And also, you did introduce something, some other like something there, right? Like him asking about more.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the part of like the human remains being removed. When you said you were suspicious, were you trying to make it sound like my character got rid of the bones and like buried them? Because I was actually thinking of
Oh no, I
during
wasn't
my
going
watch,
there.
I was thinking of getting the skull and like burying it.
Oh really?
Without being seen, yeah. Because you know, like they died as warriors, so they deserve a burial.
Yeah.
I also had a question about that, because I assumed that the skull was still there, and I interacted with it before you could say anything. So later when the body was missing, I was like, something came and recovered the body, but didn't get the head. Did I like step on the GM's toes and like mess something up?
No, it's totally fine. Oh well,
I mean, I can imagine a
maybe
scenario
so
where
if I am a bit more careful with how I imagine things, I guess the skull could have been gone too, you know. But like those things happen, and I'm not too fussed about those details. I think it still fits perfectly with the scene of
They found the
what I
body, then you see
imagine
the skull
happens.
around.
yeah.
Like
I
I
mean, it's
assume it's
possible
human
that
yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I was
to
gonna
a
say,
certain
yeah.
extent, you have to roll with the punches. Like when I made Kaharn be in the forge, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Or you were checking on the bodies, and I was like, wait, you kept the bodies around? That was what I was thinking. So I'm like, oh yes, they've been dragged off, and you only find like pieces of their armor, of the
Yeah,
clothing.
you don't
And you're
like
like,
we
okay, I check the rope that I hung them on, and then I'm like, wait, you hung them up? Shit. How do I
you don't
change
remember
that?
yeah, I
I
hang up the
forgot.
body by the feet and
Yeah.
then I butchered it and then we eat him and then at the end I chop off the head to keep as a trophy. So yeah.
So but I really like that, because then I made like, oh, I know exactly what happens, and I added more detail to to establish the scene of why why the fuck are the bodies gone. Now it's a point of now it's a question that needs answers.
Mhm.
And if you don't answer them, then then it's like a push that I can evolve. When something gets ignored, right? Then it becomes a problem at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what also like when you introduce like the tree, like I said, like sometimes like I think like I don't know why you went there, to be honest, because like there's enough, right? You could have like brought back something else, right? Just like there's the eye drag, like sometimes like that's something like sometimes I find GM. I'm not like criticizing necessarily, like, I don't think it's wrong necessarily.
No.
It's just a stylistic thing, but I think sometimes like oftentimes GM tend to put a lot in the fire, right? And then you
I
have to
see.
juggle this iron, right? Just like just something I say like be careful with. And I guess
It's
when you
been
do
Yeah, it's like it's an some ideas I've had since the first session.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those are elements that play a role in
Yeah.
this forest. I just need a good moment to bring them up.
Yeah.
So when the bodies got removed, I'm like, somebody removed the body somehow. And it's not just an animal because the rope is cut.
Mhm.
The ants send a signal to the druid because he can read them. If somebody can read them, they will know. If nothing happens, the push will happen. And then the third thought is, this is a good way to end the session.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, what I'm saying is that it's also like because when you have like clearly like we're driven like toward a goal, right?
Yeah.
And I think when the players are trying to achieve a goal, sometimes like you might as well like kind of like go with that, right? Just like if you always
Oh,
throw a
yeah.
distraction, it becomes frustrating because you can never achieve your goal, right? You can never reach your,
Yes. That for sure. Especially,
I need to make a video about that. I might do that this week.
yeah, that's
That is
a
interesting.
very good topic.
I have a question. Was there any consideration about the system when you made that choice? Because 5e is geared towards the 4 encounters a day or 8 encounters a day kind of thing, right? So
Well,
I don't
we weren't
worry
here
about
for our
how
session
many-
0, but we're using a bunch of optional rules. The gritty rules. So like long rests are a week instead of a day, or instead of a night. Those types of things.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about that as well. The reason like when I opposed you saying that like you cannot consider having a long rest is because like I asked the war chief to get to I'll need a few days to rest, right? Because I wanted to get my long rest before going back because I'm out of spell.
Yeah,
I've used a lot of
he
my
cut you short.
it dice, stuff like that, right? So I wanted to have the long rest, but the chief said no, you got to live in 3 days, right? So now like this is part for me. This is part of like, well, the chief doesn't know what it means to go outside and raid anymore. It's been too long since he doesn't know like that. You come back, you need to rest a bit, right? You don't. He's pushing and he's rushing things, and he's making bad decision. So for me, like that decision became dramatically significant in a sense, like became significant in my reading of the chief and stuff like that. But it's kind of like something that is the mechanics working with the narrative, right? For the tale,
Yes.
right? The chief is disconnected, so that's why like I like I want to oppose you trying to cheat the mechanic because it's
I like that a lot. I mean, yeah, that's why I agreed with you too. Of there should be consequences, and when the game masters like at home think I'm gonna give the players a freebie, then it cheapens their decisions that they've made. Their chieftain said something, but the players could have said, "We need to heal up. We need a week. Give us that, and we will fight and slay and return the Hydra." Instead of like giving it a chance to fail, basically.
But now it's the chief sending us where we're not fully rested, setting it up for failure, right? That's basically that's what it is, willingly or not.
And I think that's a good tip for roleplay as well, because you're reading into the system and getting in-character information out of it, right? Mm-hmm. That is how the system should intersect. I really like that.
Yeah, it's telling you something about the reality of the world, right? And how thing works.
I feel a bit bad about Red Bastard gets slapped around all the time. He grabs into a bush and fucking porcupine pierces his hand. Like, yes, if he's just grabbing into the bush, that's exact. I just roll 1d4 piercing damage.
It's karma. It's karma for being a treacherous bastard.
And he described the porcupine, so he basically read my mind what happened there.
Yeah, well, you did it well because I knew it was porcupine too, right? I got it.
Same, yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, you fucking got a porcupine. Yeah.
All right.
Are we done? Are we wrapping this up? Anything else you want to share? You want to discuss?
Yeah. Any last words? It's good on my end. I liked it a lot. Conway doing a great job over here.
Yeah. I'm glad you could join us. It's a good addition
to
the team. Yeah. Nice new dynamic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next session.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next session too. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Yep.
God bless everyone.
Thank you, everyone that joined us to watch live, and everybody that's gonna watch on the replay. And thank especially for the people that joined us to play with us. So, Nicholas, Conway, Calvin, and Zonalar for GMing. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Cheers.